Well, happy Monday, everybody. Marvin and I are back sitting on the back deck. It's a beautiful day today, and we are going to read the next chapter in A Story of the Cherokee Trail of Tears, Soft Rain, and we are on chapter called The Barn. The mother of the dead children started wailing as soon as she saw the river. Soft Rain covered her ears, trying not to hear. Finally, she touched the young mother's arm. "If you close your eyes, you won't see the Uki'ta. I do it every time we cross the river," she explained. "I'm not afraid of the Uki'ta. I'm afraid because I've left my babies in a strange place. Where will their souls rest?" Soft Rain had no answer. She thought about Green Fern, who had been terrified of going west. Where would her soul rest? But Soft Rain did not close her eyes for this crossing. Instead, she watched her feet as the groups walked on the bridge over the river. Back on land, they soon passed by the largest town they'd seen and spent another night in a strange place. It was still raining in the morning. Soft Rain struggled to rise to join the line at Tasagi. As usual, some did not follow. Several had died during the night, and others were not able. Through the wetness, Soft Rain was sure she saw Old Roving Man sitting under a cedar tree. She cried out to him, "Old Roving Man!" But when the father of a stranger looked up at her, her mother said, "It isn't your old friend, but another who cannot keep up." Soft Rain Mother, Aunt Key, and the young mother walked on. All day the rain soaked into their blankets. When darkness came, they could find no dry wood for building a fire. There would be no warm food or drink, just another night of cold rain, endless rain. When Soft Rain saw a mother about to give birth under a wagon, she said, "We should give her our tent." She helped Aunt Key put it up. "I will try to help with the baby," murmured the mother of the dead children as she crawled into the tent. "I hope she has milk for it." Through the night, Soft Rain shivered under a wagon, which only kept off the pelting rain. Once, when she awoke, she heard a baby cry. In the morning, both people and animals had to be urged to start. While she was swallowing bits of soggy bread, Soft Rain was startled by yells from a driver. "Push! Everyone who's able, help push!" came the call. "My wagon is stuck in a rut." 3 men were able to push the wagon until the horses could gain a foothold. There were many more ruts that day and the next. At each call for help, the women and children hurried to empty supplies from the mired wagon, while the sick and elderly who had been riding stood unsteadily with downcast eyes, waiting to ride again. Once the front wheels of a wagon collapsed, Soft Rain had heard the driver curse as he was thrown into the mud. "No one will ride in that wagon again," she thought. Her feet grew heavier with each step as she sank to her ankles in the muddy tracks, and when she pulled her foot up without her moccasin, she screamed. "Reach down in the mud and pull it out. Carry your moccasins," her mother said. For the rest of the day, cold, slimy mud covered Soft Rain's feet. She was shaking all over when they came to a stream where everyone was cleaning themselves and their clothing. As Soft Rain dipped her moccasins into the icy water, her teeth began to chatter. I'm too cold and tired to keep walking," she said. "We're all too tired," Aunt Key said. "But what else can we do? We must keep moving." They plodded slowly on until Soft Rain said, "Listen." A faint call echoed down the line at Tasagi. "What are they saying?" Mother asked. Had Soft Rain heard correctly? "Shelter! They say there's shelter ahead," she answered in disbelief. They hurried as fast as their heavy feet could carry them until they came to an old barn with no doors. A leader stood near the entrance. "We can sleep in here tonight. Please let children and the sick go first." Soft Rain watched the mother of the dead children carry in the newborn baby. Finally, Soft Rain Mother and Aunt Key entered. They found a place just inside, away from the rain and the wind. "It's dry and warm," Soft Rain sighed, pulling hay over her. She fell asleep right away. In the morning, the rain still fell. A fire glowed in the middle of the barn. Soft Rain saw her mother walking away from it, holding something in her hand. Warm bread. Mother smiled and handed a small, flat loaf to Soft Rain. "Mmm," Soft Rain murmured, holding the bread close to her nose, enjoying its warmth and smell. They hadn't had warm bread since the rains had begun. She had just begun to eat when she heard the steady beating of a drum. "Shh," someone said. "The chief speaks." The young chief stood near the fire. When the voices quieted, he began. "Many of you are ill and tired and need to rest. It has been decided that you may wait here to recover. Join the next group, which will arrive in 2 or 3 days. There is salt, pork, flour, and corn for you. The rest of us must leave now." Mother said, "We're staying. I'm weary, and Soft Rain needs to eat warm food and sleep." Aunt Key nodded and began spreading the blankets out to dry. Soft Rain ate the delicious bread slowly. She waved to the chief and the mother of the dead babies as they left. "I feel strange," she thought. "I want to go, and I want to stay." She was sad to lose her new friends, but her heart felt lighter and she was warm. "Will we have friends in the next group?" she wondered. "Who will be our chief?" The barn soon filled with the voices of the other women and children who had stayed behind. People began gathering around the fire. Someone shouted and started a chant, "Yo-hee-hee-ya." High sounds, low sounds. Some women strapped terrapin shells around their legs. Stamp, stamp, they began to dance. Soon there was a long line of dancers stepping and stomping. Aunt Key clapped her hands, then pulled Soft Rain into the snake-like line. Soft Rain was as happy as when she danced in her dream. But this was different. Green Fern and Grandmother weren't in the barn watching her. The blankets were still damp, but Soft Rain didn't need them. She slept under her blanket of hay. By the next morning, the rain had stopped. The sun shining through the open door awakened her. She crawled out from under the hay and stretched in the sun's light. While her mother baked more bread, Soft Rain helped Aunt Key carry the blankets outside to finish drying. All day, people ate, told stories, and sang. As Soft Rain listened, she thought, "If Grandmother were here, she would be the best storyteller. Someday I'll tell her how I danced in the barn and slept under the hay." 2 days later, they heard loud whooping, the Tsauge warning that someone was approaching. Soon they heard snorting animals and rattling wagons. Soft Rain joined the other women and children outside. She wondered if this was the group the young chief had told them to join. She wasn't ready to walk on the long trail again. She turned away from the new arrivals. "See you," she heard Mother yell excitedly. It isn't possible, she thought. But she quickly turned back to her mother, running towards the man on the lead horse. Soft Rain ran too. Her father slid off his horse, and Soft Rain jumped into his arms. She buried her head in his chest, sniffling his deerskin hunting shirt. "He smells the same," she thought. She wanted to cry, laugh, shout. She wanted to tell him many things. "I knew you would find us," was all she could utter. Wow, so finally Soft Rain has been reunited with her father. Well, tomorrow we'll read the next chapter called A New Leader. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful weather. Bye.